Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. On April 14, 2024, that marks the 10-year anniversary of the abduction of 276 Chibok schoolgirls from their school in Chibok, Borno State. It had been 10 years of agony, anguish, failed expectations by parents who are still waiting for the return, the recovery, the release of their children. Don't forget, 10 years after, over 100 of them are still missing. Now, the 10-year anniversary was an opportunity for the President of Nigeria to address the nation, to remind us how we have failed to keep to the promise of protection of lives and property of Nigerians, to apologize to the parents of the over 100 Chibok schoolgirls that are still waiting to see if their children are still alive. But President Bola Tinubu did not address the nation. His spokespeople did not even issue any statement to assuage the anguish of Chibok schoolgirls' parents, to at least tell Nigerians, never again will this happen. But do you know what President Bola Tinubu did? He had time to write op-ed in Newsweek magazine, an American News Magazine, because as far as this government is concerned, it is all about what Americans and the international community thinks, not about the Chibok schoolgirls' parents. His interest basically was to look good before the Americans, and the summary of what he wrote is to tell them that he is different from President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and that what happened in Chibok cannot happen under his administration. But is that really true, what he wrote in that his op-ed, to satisfy the international community, who he is more concerned about than appealing to the emotions and needs of the family members, particularly the parents of the missing Chibok schoolgirls? Now, look at what he wrote. We are just going to take an excerpt of it. I pinned it on the wall here, the Newsweek article that he wrote, opinion that he wrote. Some other Nigerian newspapers have published it, but that was not his intention, because if Bola Tinubu wanted to be published in Nigeria, he would have sent it to Nigerian newspapers at least to publish, but he sent it to Newsweek to publish, and that kind of publicity do not come free. It was from Newsweek that Nigerian newspapers coiled it from. So let us look at what he claimed in his op-ed to the Americans, who he believed need to be assured that he is different from other leaders of Nigeria. This is what he wrote. He said, 10 years ago today, 276 girls were abducted in the night from their school in Chibok, northeastern Nigeria. The attack by Boko Haram pricked the conscience of the world. From London to Washington, protesters held placards reading hashtag bring back our girls. The hashtag the girls' families had posted to pressure their idle government into action. Now, Bola Tinubu is describing here the government of President Bola Jonathan as idle government, that it was that protest that galvanized the idle government. So the government of Goodluck Jonathan was idle. You can see what I told you. The idea was to demonize the Goodluck Jonathan and present himself as better than Goodluck Jonathan. But we're going to find out whether it is really true. He said it will take almost 3 weeks for the then Nigerian president, Goodluck Jonathan, even to make a public announcement. You can see. He said it took Goodluck Jonathan almost 3 weeks to make a public announcement. Okay. It took Jonathan 3 weeks. But under his administration, President Bola Tinubu administration, the students, female students of Federal University Gusau was kidnapped September 2023. How long did it take Tinubu to make an announcement on the kidnap of the student? How long did it take President Bola Tinubu to make an announcement to acknowledge the kidnapping of 22 students of Federal University Gusau that was kidnapped in September 2023? And those students were there for almost a year. It was only recently, last week or thereabout, that these girls were released, spending almost a year with the bandits and terrorists that picked them up, that kidnapped them. So how is Bola Tinubu different from Jonathan he was criticizing here? These people spend more than almost a year, the Gusau students. What did he do to show that he was different? And recently the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, claimed that the girls' release was done without payment of any ransom. That no ransom was paid. So the kidnappers who went through all the trouble to kidnap this girl, they just kidnapped them for nothing. That's what we want. They want reasonable persons, both in Nigeria and outside the world, to believe that they released those girls. The ladies of the University of Gusau, Federal University of Gusau, they released them after nearly a year without collecting anything. They're so kind-hearted. So why did they kidnap them in the first place? What was their purpose? So to claim that he was better than Jonathan, which was his aim of writing this, not because he cared about the children that was kidnapped, because if he cared, he would have called the parents of the missing 100 Chibok girls that are yet to be recovered. He would have invited them to the Aso Rock Villa, talk to them, give them assurance as the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Why did I say bring this up? Because the next paragraph, look at how he was making boast of him, giving himself too much credit. He said, when this March, 137 children were tragically taken from a school in Kaduna, northwestern Nigeria. The shadow of Chibok lay ever present. Why? Nigerians and the world asked, after the passage of a decade, was such an atrocity still happening? He said, this time, unlike Chibok, the girls and the boys were brought back a fortnight later. The security and intelligence agencies deployed immediately to rescue them. That was what they are claiming. They rescued the girls. They rescued these school children from Kaduna. No guns were shot. None of the kidnappers were apprehended. Nothing. They just released them. They took these children, over 200 students, they took them from Kaduna to Zamfara just for fun. And when Nigerian government want them to be returned, they just returned them. And they think that the international community will believe that. They think that the American embassies and the West and the British embassies, they are not aware of what is going on in this country. So they just release them like that. Now, this is basically to show that he is different. But at least the Federal University Guzo students, they were with terrorists for nearly a year. Knock that claim that he is different from Jonathan in terms of recovering kidnapped students. He says success in Kaduna has brought familiar relief and praise for the military. Has brought families relief and praise for the military. Yet the government bears no illusion. The scourge of kidnapping must be routed once and for all. And for all. It begins with recognizing the changing nature of the threat. Now he went on and talk about the fact that they will not, this time, they will not pay ransom. He went on to claim that those who kidnap the Chibok, the students, school children in Kaduna, that they demanded 1 billion naira, which is about $600,000 according to him. He said that nothing was paid. Really, nothing was. What's the proof that nothing was paid? What was the proof that nothing was paid? How will anybody believe that nothing was paid? We have had instances in this country where people are kidnapped. There was some girls from one family that was kidnapped in Abuja here, and the family and the police said that the girls were rescued. The family said no, we paid ransom. That was why they were released. So the idea that government Tinubu is claiming that he didn't pay ransom, if you believe that, then you can believe anything. That was how they said they have stopped payment of fuel subsidy. But we know when the IMF confronted them and told them that they are still paying fuel subsidy, they didn't challenge the IMF. The IMF said they are still paying fuel subsidy. They didn't challenge the IMF. Only recently, the former governor of Kaduna State, Bola also stated that since May 29, 2023, when Tinubu took over power, the federal government of Nigeria under Tinubu had paid fuel subsidy of over 8 trillion naira. And he said that if not for that payment, the price of fuel would have been higher than 1,000 naira per liter, just like the price of diesel. And you can't argue with that, because tell us the reason why fuel will continue to be in the price that we are still buying it now, with the volatility of the foreign currency market and everything. with the increase in the price of fuel around the world, imported fuel around the world. How could we have this kind of stable price for so long if somebody is not paying for it? So if you believe that Tinubu rescued these Kaduna people, Kaduna school children, without paying any dime, you can't believe anything. It means that indeed Nigerian negotiators are the best negotiators in the world. They should even go to Israel and to Hamas to teach them how to negotiate for the release of hostages without payment of anything, without any conditionalities. If they could pull all these things off in Nigeria, they can even write a book. It will be a bestseller. Any platform it is published. So he is boasting here that nothing was paid. He said, as president, I have been cleared and ransom stop. He said, resolution through payment only perpetuates the wider problem. This extortion racket must be squeezed out of existence. Meanwhile, the cost for perpetrators must be raised. They will receive not a dime, and instead, security services counter action. Interestingly, the security services counter action, all the people that have been released, the security have not told us how many people they were able to kill in the rescue. They will always rescue these people and say they have been rescued, but there is no proof. They didn't even show dead bodies of terrorists that was killed in the process. Nothing. No shots will be fired. Nothing. Out of the benevolence of the terrorists, they will just hang the girls over or the hostages over and disappear into thin air. And they are not even being prosecuted. No arrests will be made. Is that how to secure a nation? Going on, he said, but compressing the kidnap for ransom market only addresses the pull factors. If we are to avoid funneling the same people with other crimes that cause normal Nigerians to feel insecure, we must address the push factors: poverty, inequality, and the paucity of opportunities. He went on to say that criminal gangs can find easy recruits among those without either a job or the prospect of one. He said that 63% of Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. Yes, 63% of Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. But this 63% became multidimensionally poor under the administration of the APC in the last 8.5 years. And the number must have increased tremendously with the hardship that accompanied the so-called economic reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He went on to say that some 63% of Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. They are bearing the economic consequences of a failure by successive governments to get to grip with the Nigerian economy. He said physical and monetary albatross have grounded the country's flight when surging demographics demand high economic growth to just maintain current standard of living. He said that a decade-old fuel subsidy was exhausting part public finances. By 2022, the cost had ballooned to $10 billion, more than the government's combined spending on education and health and infrastructure in a budget of $40 billion. Now, but he failed to point out that all these things happen under the APC administration. All these things happen under the APC administration. He went went on to say that currency control that artificially propped up the naira deterred investors and led to shortages of foreign exchange. For decades, we have been financially ransoming ourselves. When my government took office last May, we faced a pile of debt obligation that were piled up by the APC administration, which he promised at the election that he's going to build on the achievement of that administration. He's going to continue from where Buhari stopped. Just as with kidnappers, we have to be tough with the economy. Do you believe that this government is any tougher to the kidnappers than the previous government? Do you believe that? If you believe that, then you can believe anything. The kidnappers are on rampage in Nigeria right now. So as far as I can see, it is preposterous to say that this government is treating kidnappers any different from the government of Muhammad Buhari. They are not treating them any better. That's why now the kidnappers operate with impunity. They even have TikTok accounts. They display their kidnap ransom, the kidnap ransom they collected. They display it on social media, TikTok. You see them on TikTok. You'll be amazed. Because unless they have audacity, why would they do that? At least during the time of Buhari, I don't think that I have seen anyone that they posted. They say bandits displaying the money they collected as ransom. So how is he treating them any tougher than the previous administration? Now he went on to talk about how he tried to correct the distortion of the foreign currency and all that. He said the removal of fuel subsidy in a country where many businesses and households rely on generator for power has also had far-reaching effects. These reforms have caused pain across Nigeria. That is a fact. The so-called reform has caused pain because Nigerians are poorer today than when Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president on May 29, 2023. He went on to say, yet there is no better alternative. There is a better alternative. The fuel subsidy could have been removed under a better package arrangement that will reduce the suffering of Nigerians. The flotation of the naira could have been avoided because even the former government of Buhari, when Ahmed was the central bank governor, he rejected the pressure by the IMF and the World Bank to devalue the naira, to float the naira. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu, just to satisfy the West, the ones that he's writing this article for, to please them, to make them happy with him, he hurriedly floated the naira in June 2023. And he saw the consequences of it. Naira rose to the level of 2,000 naira to the dollar, and they panicked. Tinubu panicked. That was why today now they are still, even in this write-up, he's still claiming that naira is demand and supply dictate the market. It's not true. This time around, they are now guiding the naira the same way MFLA did. And if you see a latest report by Bloomberg talk about that the reserve of Nigeria is being used. Foreign reserve of Nigeria is being used to guard the naira, to stop the naira from falling beyond what was expected. Of course, the government has denied it. Cardoso, the central bank governor, said that is not true, that they are not using the reserve. But given the bundle of lies that have been associated with so many things that this government had done, because how do you believe them now? When they are paying subsidy, they say they are not paying subsidy. And you are aware of that. So how do you believe them when they tell you that Bloomberg was wrong? Bloomberg cited instances to show that the reserve has fallen 4 years low than what it used to be because of the use of it to prop up the naira. That's what they wrote. But the government said, no, it is not true. The choice is yours, whether to believe Nigerian government, led by Bola, Ahmed, Tinubu, and the CBN governor, Kodoso, or to believe the Bloomberg. And then he talked about the fact that going forward, he said that he said green shots are now visible. In the first quarter of this year, foreign currency flow have almost matched those for the whole of last year. A multi-billion forex backlog at the central bank has been cleared, giving foreign investors confidence to invest in Africa's largest economy. Nigeria is no longer Africa's largest economy. Perhaps he also needs to go and read the latest report by the Bloomberg and others. Nigeria is now the fourth largest economy in the world. Nigeria is no longer the first largest economy. It's no longer the largest economy in Africa. It is now number 4. And thanks to Bola, Ahmed, Tinubu and the All Progressive Congress. By the time they took over in 2015, Nigeria was the largest economy in Africa. Under their administration, Nigeria has gotten to number 4, not even number 2, not even number 3. Nigeria is down to number 4. It is the same administration that took Nigeria, that was the biggest economy in Africa, and made it the poverty capital of the world. A country where you have 133 million multi-dimensionally poor, created by the APC administration in the last 8.5 years. So, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, may try to deceive the Americans who he was targeting by writing in the Newsweek magazine, or the international community like the British, who are likely to read the Newsweek international magazine. But the reality is there for anyone to see. And Bloomberg, incidentally, is an American publication. So by the time the Americans read what he has written about Chibok girls, and they read what is in Bloomberg, and then try to find out from their embassy on the truth in Nigeria, they will know that indeed things has gotten worse under Tinubu's administration than even the previous administration, in terms of the economy, in terms of insecurity, in terms of kidnapping of people, both from schools and ordinary Nigerians. Nigeria is one of the most insecure places in the world today, thanks to the incompetency of the APC administration in the last 8.5 years. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.